I'm very honored to introduce Mr. Rob Oliphant. He's a member of the Parliament. Mr. Oliphant has a few words with us.
Thank you very much. It is a tremendous privilege and honor for me to be with you today. I have had a good relationship now with Viet Thanh in Canada and conversations in the United States as well for the last 7 or 8 years. And I am constantly given encouragement and a sense of strength for my own work by seeing the work that you do for brothers and sisters, cousins and friends and strangers in Vietnam who are standing today hoping to have the same right to assemble as we have in Canada. I was watching as we gathered here today, mostly impressed that there are no police officers around. We stand here at the Legislature of Ontario, free to assemble. We stand here free to speak our thoughts. We stand here free to be Canadians among others, fighting for, arguing for, standing with people who are oppressed in Vietnam. And that is a tremendous privilege that we have, that we want to have all over the world, especially today in Vietnam. 67 years ago, the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights was declared. And that is the blueprint for human rights throughout the world. And on December 10th, we stand as part of an international community longing for international human rights and the freedoms that we take for granted in Canada. It is not surprising that the architect of the Universal Declaration for Human Rights was a Canadian, Bruce Humphreys, and he was tasked with the job of coming up with a code of inalienable rights that come to us simply because we are human. We have the right to have freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, regardless of our ethnic background, our racial background, our linguistic background, where we were born, or how we live. And that is what we're standing for today. We do not demand anything special in Vietnam. We demand what is ordinary and expected around the world. Nothing unusual. We are simply asking that the government of Vietnam keeps its commitments. It has signed on to international covenants on economic and political rights, on social and cultural rights. And that is what we are demanding, that they live up to the expectation that the world community has for them to declare the freedoms and rights of assembly and the rights that we have as Canadians should be equal in Vietnam. There has been change as in the last 7 or 8 years as I've been following this issue, but what continues to happen are unlawful detentions. There are still brutal beatings, there is still torture, there are still forced confessions, and there are still people incarcerated without due process. We want an independent judicial system separate from the political party of the day in Vietnam to ensure that Vietnamese citizens are affirmed in every right that they desire and have and are absolutely entitled to. This is not unusual. What we are demanding is not something special. It is something that we think every human being should have. You bring today stories of people who are incarcerated at ages as young as 15 years of age. And the reality is they are in prison for long periods of time because of their religion, because of their outspoken nature, because they have dared to express a desire for freedoms for all in Vietnam. What we will do today is, in our small way in Toronto, continue an international pressure on Vietnam to live up to its commitments. We will, in this place, begin to be part of rallies like this that are around the world, bringing people together to make an awareness of what is going on in Vietnam. People will stand today in San Francisco, maybe in Washington, in Paris, around Canada, and we are part of that network of people ensuring that the voices of those who cannot speak are heard. My role as a new parliamentarian, I was a member of parliament before. I lost in the 2011 election, and thanks to the work of some of you folks, and I do want to call out Michelle. Where is Michelle? Join me. Michelle has been on my team and campaign for the last 4 or 5 months, helping me, and she has been a constant pleasure to be with in my campaign. She is Canadian. She is of Vietnamese origin. She brings an understanding of human rights, and she has represented all of you in my campaign, and I wanted to publicly thank Michelle for being you with me over these last many months to ensure that we had a change of government, because the last government did not stand up for human rights the way I believe Justin Trudeau's government will. So, Michelle, thank you for being part of them, part of us, and ensuring that human rights are in my mind and in my heart every day. So thank you, Michelle.
Bravo, Michelle! Bravo, Michelle!
This is also a lesson in political engagement, that if we're going to make a difference in human rights, we need to engage in all aspects, whether it's at the local level, the city level, the provincial level, and the federal level. The role of all of us as Canadian citizens is to engage, to make sure that politicians coast to coast to coast in this country have a sense and an understanding of what it is that we are asking for. I will be working with you over the next 4 years. I pledge my support for you, and I am sure that we will, 4 years from now, have a different state in the world, and we will encourage the whole international community to help the people of Vietnam to ensure that we have human rights. What do we want? Human rights.
Right.
And we will engage every day, bringing our minds, our hearts, and our bodies to this task. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your work, and we just begin. Thank you.
Human rights! Human rights! What do you want? Human rights!